morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to our weekly review of how religion impacts humanity. This week's headlines. Same-sex marriage has been denied in India. Conservative Buddhist monks support the military coup in Myanmar. In Thailand, 5-year-old twins were forced to marry because their Buddhist family believes they were lovers in a past life. 2 women in Australia have faced court over allegedly planning the female genital mutilation of a 2-week-old baby girl. A court decides a French cardinal is culpable over his failure to disclose child sexual abuse. Closet Muslim apostates in the UK fear the census will out them to their families. A pro-life Texas lawmaker has introduced a bill imposing the death penalty for abortion. Islamist insurgents terrorise Mozambique. And a brave TV actress is interviewed in Pakistan. Okay, same-sex marriage is denied in India. Terming the idea of same-sex marriages contrary to the idea of family in Indian culture, the Government Centre on Thursday opposed petitions seeking recognition of same-sex marriage. It said the idea of same-sex marriages is not in sync with Indian ethos and culture. Our law only recognizes marriage between a man and a woman, the centre said, in response to a petition filed in Delhi High Court by 4 people belonging to the LGBTQ community. The petitioners had urged the Delhi High Court to declare the marriages between any 2 persons, irrespective of their sex, to be solemnized under the Special Marriage Act. Living together as partners and having sexual relationship by same-sex individual is not comparable with the Indian family unit concept of a husband, wife and children, which presupposes a biological man as husband, a biological woman as wife, and children born out of the union, the centre said. Despite the decriminalisation of Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code, the petitioners cannot claim a fundamental right for same-sex marriage, the government further said. In their plea, the petitioners had also sought that the provisions in the SMA, which require a male and a female for solemnisation of marriage, to be declared as unconstitutional, unless they are read as neutral to gender identity and sexual orientation. The latest petition has said that 3 of the petitioners have gone abroad as Indian laws do not recognize same-sex couples or marriages, and such relationships do not enjoy the same benefits as those enjoyed by heterosexual couples. The 4th petitioner is also contemplating going abroad to be with his partner, as laws here do not recognize same-sex relationships, the petition has said. Conservative Buddhist monks support the military coup in Myanmar. This report from Jason Sylvester.
Ultra-conservative senior monks actively and openly support the military and the suppression of democracy. However, BBC does report that monks have been seen on the street in support of the protests. The Patriotic Association of Myanmar, PAB, also known as Mabata, are extremist monks who fear the annihilation of their religion and promote Burmese nationalism. These radical monks feel that democracy is a threat to their religion and that the military will help to preserve and protect the status quo. The military fuels the belief that democracy, specifically Western values, will pervade and undermine Burmese society, ultimately leading people away from Buddhism, a belief which does have some merit given the decline in religion in other secular countries. Given this military propaganda, it comes as no surprise that conservative monks support the coup and the existential threat that democracy poses to their ideology. However, it is a two-way street between the monks and the military. Rumors abound in Myanmar that the military administration is deeply superstitious, and prior to the initiation of the coup, the appropriate Buddhist rituals were conducted to prepare the military leaders. Some examples of the support by the monks. On November 14th, a powerful and influential monk named Sitagu claimed that 40,000 fake ballots had been stuffed into a single box, a claim that is not only ridiculous as it is physically impossible. This is not the first time Sitagu has courted controversy, as he previously stoked anti-Rohingya sentiment. In justifying Rohingya deaths, Sitagu related a story about a Buddhist king who felt guilty at having killed 500,000 enemy soldiers, but the king need not worry, as the soldiers were not human, given they were not Buddhists who are moral, and that monks have psychic powers who know this. Perhaps these magical psychic powers explain how Sitagu knows about the 40,000 ballots and how they managed to fit into a single box. Sitagu also has ties to the PAB and is patron of another conservative organization known as the Young Men Buddhist Association, which issued a press release in support of the military coup, which states, "We hereby make a statement. Young Men Buddhist Association declares it shall stand together with the Tatmadaw military for the sake of race, religion, creed, and education, and supports the cabinet established by the Tatmadaw." Another influential monk with strong ties to the military leadership is Kovida Vasipik. In a text message between the wife of General Min, named QQ, and Kovida, QQ aloofly predicts the coming use of force, writing, "We will kick, my venerable monk. We know kicking with force would trigger certain people to cry. That's why we try to do it in soft ways. If it doesn't work with the soft ways, we will kick for sure." The supposedly venerable monk appears to condone this action with a trite, "good deeds" in reply. Indeed, QQ's words have come true in the past few days as Burmese troops have opened fire on protesters in a desperate attempt for the monks and the generals to cling to power at all costs. I'm Jason Sylvester, also known as Diogenes of Mayberry, reporting from Asia.
Thank you, Jason. While we are in this part of the world, in neighbouring Thailand, 5-year-old twins were forced to marry because their Buddhist family believes they were lovers in a past life. The boy and his sister were married at their home on March the 4th. Their devoutly religious parents follow Buddhist teaching that claim that twins are born together are due to a previous connection from a past life. They believe the pair share karma because they were once lovers whose relationship ended before they were married. The 31-year-old father and 30-year-old mother insisted that if twins are not married at the earliest opportunity, their lives will be haunted by bad luck from their previous romance. Friends and family attended the wedding ceremony, which featured a Buddhist monk chanting blessings during the abnormal nuptials. It was followed by traditional Thai celebrations with music, parades, and dancing. Relatives even offered up a dowry for the child couple, in line with the culture's customs. Their proud father explained, "We believe that if your children were born twins who have a different gender, they must be married, or else one of them will fall ill later in their lives. We are only doing this to make sure our children are safe. We do not want them to be sick, and there is nothing to lose if we follow this belief." 2 women have faced court over allegedly planning the female genital mutilation of a 2-week-old baby. Western Australia police have charged the women, aged 23 and 50, after they allegedly approached a doctor in January for the procedure. Police said the doctor refused and reported the matter to authorities, sparking an investigation by Child Abuse Squad detectives. The women appeared in the Armadale Magistrates Court on Friday, charged with conspiracy to commit an indictable offence, and are due to reappear on April the 20th. Magistrate Stephen Malley described the matter as a serious offence and dismissed a request made by the pair to regain custody, saying it would be like putting the baby back into the lion's den. The baby girl is now in the hands of child protection authorities. If found guilty, the women could each face up to 10 years in prison. France's top court has confirmed that Philippe Barbarin, until recently France's most senior Catholic cleric, is culpable for failing to report sexual assaults of minors by a priest in his charge. The Cour de Cassation's ruling reversed an acquittal of the cardinal, who was Archbishop of Lyon until last year, on the same court at the Court of Appeal. The duty to report crimes is mandatory under French law, but following the Cour de Cassation ruling, the state made no application for criminal sanctions against Cardinal Barbarin, so there cannot now be a criminal sanction against him. The Court of Appeal will sit next month to decide what the damages against him should amount to. Barbarin failed to report sexual abuse by a priest, Bernard Prenat, who has since been convicted of abusing Boy Scouts while serving as scoutmaster of a Catholic troop. A lawyer told the court that Prenat had abused an estimated 3,000 to 4,000 Boy Scout victims between 1971 and 1991. Prenat was only recently defrocked, although senior clerics had known about his abuses for decades. For apostates, people who leave the religion they were raised in against their family's wishes, something as simple as filling in the census can feel fraught with danger. As the UK census is a household survey, one member is expected to oversee the whole form and may well look at the answers others give. This means that each member may reveal their personal details to that person. The 2021 UK census includes sensitive questions about religion, as well as about sexuality and gender identity. There are many cases of apostates being subjected to abhorrent abuse, and many face being cut off by their communities if their decision to leave their religion becomes known. Because of the fear of shunning or honor-based abuse, many apostates have not come out as non-religious to their families. This census is predominantly taking place online, so respondents can independently and discreetly edit their own answers without anyone in the household being able to see them if they make an application to do so. A Republican lawmaker in Texas has introduced a bill that would make all abortions in the state illegal. This report from our Texas correspondent, Jason Fry.
A Republican lawmaker in Texas has introduced a bill that would make all abortions in the state illegal, with the punishment being the death penalty for anyone performing or undergoing the medical procedure. Texas Republican State Representative Brian Slayton said in a press release that his bill would showcase how his party truly feels about the practice. A statement from Slayton read, "It's time Republicans make it clear that we actually think abortion is murder." Slayton also claimed via a tweet that the bill would guarantee the equal protection of the laws to all Texans, no matter how small. Slayton's bill, HB 3326, would charge any person who has had an abortion, as well as any provider who performs the medical procedure, with assault or homicide. Those charges carry with them extreme punishments, including the death penalty in the state, and are in stark opposition to the stated pro-life positions anti-abortion activists say that they hold. The bill would ban all abortions from the point of fertilization and would not make any exceptions for rape or incest, though it would allow the procedure when a pregnant person's life is at risk. The bill would also grant immunity to any individual who gives evidence or testifies against a person whom they have helped in obtaining an abortion.
Thank you, Jason. In Mozambique, Islamist insurgents have been causing terror. This report is from the BBC.
Katantu abari ya mujawe bana sitia na uruenchi we na teke obari ya mana hahi ya sana
wa soma bara na kisande kusinja
wengine po wakikata kwamba mwanangu nisika na ndifuko akituyanga hawa nikipita katikati kama shababi ikiwa usiku kuna shababi wana wanikaje kero
vitu vyake alipo nyumba ipo ni mwenye hapa nyumba sina achikuchanili nao ya sambi familia pia yake na nao.
This vast corner of Mozambique has basically been emptied out by terror. You get a real sense here of the scale of the conflict and also how quickly it's accelerating. This camp alone had about 60,000 people in it 3 months ago. Today, it's doubled in size. The situation here in Palma really is very grim. You can see the frustration and the desperation amongst local people because there's simply no food, and what food there is incredibly expensive.
Very, very angry. I'm very angry. I have 3 days without eating nothing. And I'm here, but I don't get nothing.
As we flew out of Palma, we saw this multi-billion-dollar gas project. Mozambique is fantastically rich in resources, but very little of that wealth seems to get passed on. That causes resentment, which Al-Shabaab is obviously exploiting. And in the meantime, people are still fleeing from the violence, a lot of them escaping by boat, heading to beaches further south. The horror stories that families are bringing ashore here are chilling. People are desperate, people are terrified, but they're also baffled by a conflict that seems to have come out of nowhere, which makes so little sense to so many people here. And this is a region that's known its fair share of conflict, of corruption, of inequality over the years, but Cabo Delgado has suddenly, in the space of 2 or 3 years, been transformed into this horrific conflict zone, a conflict that really nobody saw coming.
Finally, here is an extremely brave TV actress being interviewed in Pakistan. There's no sound on this clip. Thank you to Harris Sultan for that clip. We will be back with our weekly news review at the same time and in the same place next week. Please tell your friends, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the notifications, etc. Thank you for watching.